Hello everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel, The Atomic Playground. And today I would like to present to you 5 problems that I have with the new Star Wars movie, Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Now before I get into any in-depth analysis here of what I thought was missing or lacking in the movie, I would first like to give a spoiler alert. If you've not seen the movie yet, probably don't want to watch this video yet. So just want to warn you ahead of time. There are things in this video that will give a lot of stuff in the movie away. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, and at the time of this recording that I'm making this video, it's the week of Christmas 2015. Basically the week that the movie came out. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, probably don't want to watch this video until after you've seen the movie. So there's that. Okay, so now that you've been warned, let's begin. Okay, now first on my list is I would say that Episode 7 is a major rehash.
Why, that Grinch even took the last can of Hoo-Hash.
No, not Hoo-Hash. Rehash. I would say that Episode 7 is a major rehash of Episode 4, Star Wars A New Hope, the one that started all the fun back in 1977. And what I mean by that is, right from the get-go, we are going to a desert planet, and the biggest clue into a rehash is when Poe implants or stores secret information and a secret map to the whereabouts of Luke Skywalker into the droid BB-8. And what does that remind you of? Reminds you a lot of Princess Leia storing the plans to the Death Star in R2-D2 in Episode 4. And then he goes to the desert planet Tatooine with the plans for the Death Star that Princess Leia stored inside of him. Except in The Force Awakens, BB-8 is on a planet called Jakku, which is a desert planet as well. And if you didn't know any difference, or if you didn't know any better, you would think that Jakku is Tatooine if you didn't know, and because it looks just like it. It looks just like Tatooine. Now, one really easy way of telling the difference is Jakku has 1 sun, Tatooine has 2. That's a surefire way of telling the difference. There's also an escape from a desert planet, just like there was in Episode 4, A New Hope. In Episode 7, in the Millennium Falcon, we saw Han, Luke, and Ben escape Mos Eisley and Tatooine in Episode 4. And in Episode 7, we see Rey and Finn and BB-8 escape in the same Millennium Falcon, except this time they're escaping from the planet Jakku. Very similar, both times being chased by TIE fighters. Also, in Episode 7, a scene that is very similar to Episode 4, A New Hope, is when Han Solo, Rey, Finn, BB-8, and Chewie go visit one of Han's old friends by the name of Maz Kanata. And she lives on a planet by the name of Takonado, something like that. And she owns a castle on this planet, and it's very similar to the Mos Eisley Cantina Scene in Episode 4, A New Hope. You walk in, there's all these alien creatures, there's alien music playing, they're smoking alien pot, they're drinking Star Wars beer. Very similar to the Cantina Scene in Episode 4. And last but not least, in exploring and analyzing rehashes and similarities between Episode 4 and Episode 7, we see Starkiller Base, which closely resembles the Death Star. It's a large planetary structure which can destroy other planets. It's even got a big red laser beam, which the Death Star didn't, but the Death Star did have that big round laser that it shot and destroyed Autoran with. This closely, very very similar to the Death Star, and so it's also something that the Empire, or in this case the First Order, uses to intimidate the rest of the galaxy. A lot of similarities there between Starkiller Base and the Death Star. Okay, my number 2 issue with Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, and not going to go into a whole lot of detail or depth about this, but just simply the score. The music, which has always been done by John Williams, and he's done just a masterful job in the past in episodes prior. But this one right here, nothing really stuck out. I mean, I don't really think there was any groundbreaking music, nothing really different. We heard the old Jedi themes and the Imperial theme in parts, but nothing really new that was unique to the new Episode 7. So Moving right along. Okay, number 3 on my list of things that I saw wrong and had a problem with Episode 7, Star Wars The Force Awakens. And this is the biggest one. This is the major problem that I had with this movie. And that is none other than the death of Han Solo. Okay, the theater I was in, it got really quiet. And there were people applauding when the Millennium Falcon was shown, when Han and Chewie first appeared. But when Han Solo died, it got very quiet. Okay, now, if you want to kill Han Solo off, okay, that's fine. I think Harrison Ford wanted out of the franchise anyway. But here's the thing. You should have done it a lot differently than what you did. It was quick, it was sudden, and what I think the audience wanted, I know what I wanted, was a sentimental moment, an emotional moment where, the audience and the fans kindly got to say goodbye to Solo, something that was a little more emotional and sentimental, something like this.
I would have followed you, my brother. My captain. My king.
But instead, well, we got something like this. I just think you could have done something better than a Wile E. Coyote moment. Him falling into a ravine, canyon, whatever. You could have done something like, we saw where Leia saw something was wrong, and you could have done something back and forth. Han's dying, and Leia knows it, and then Leia says something like, I love you, and then Han, planets away, says, I know. That would have been beautiful. That would have been great. And the whole time he's saying goodbye to Chewie, enjoyed flying with you all these years. And then the audience is crying, Kleenexes are being handed out, and it's just a great, great moment in science fiction history. But we didn't get that. We got the Wile E. Coyote moment. I just think they could have done this thing better. And, Han Solo is one of the most beloved characters in all of the Star Wars franchise. And he's had some of the best scenes. I just think it could have been more emotional, more sentimental, and kind of like a way for the audience to say goodbye to the character. But we didn't get that. Now, maybe, just maybe, I doubt it, but maybe they're just leaving the door open that Han maybe survived being stabbed by a lightsaber, and he fell in some very cushy snow, or had a soft landing. And in a perfect Star Wars universe where you can get your right hand cut off at Cloud City and not bleed to death and be surgically repaired by a medical droid, maybe he's still alive. I doubt it, but maybe they're leaving the door open to something like that. Maybe. Number 4 on my list is simply hardware. In other words, what I mean is I just didn't see a whole lot of new ships and other kind of weaponry in the movie. We saw X-Wings, we saw the Millennium Falcon, we saw TIE Fighters, we saw Shuttle Tidariums, we saw all of that in the other movies. We didn't really see anything new in this installment as far as ships or anything new that the First Order or the Rebel Alliance or the Resistance had to offer. Okay, now my 5th and final problem that I had with Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, was it lacked a great epic battle scene at the end where Poe and his cohorts of Rogue Squadron X-Wing fighters went to destroy Starkiller Base. Now, it was just too easy, and I think there was maybe a few. It just seemed like there was just very few X-wings up against very few TIE fighters, and the battle was quick and it was over. It was nothing like the great, elaborate battle of Yavin 4 at the end of Episode 4, A New Hope, where the first Death Star was destroyed. This was a much bigger. This was a much bigger structure that they had to destroy than the previous Death Star, and it just seemed too easy. They just went in and got the job done. I mean, that's great and all, but I don't know. It just seemed too easy, and it lacked that great epic battle at the end that we saw at the end of Episode 4, A New Hope. I do have a couple of honorable mentions. First off, being Max von Sydow's character. Max von Sydow, I love him as an actor. I think he's been in a lot of really good movies. He just wasn't in the movie long enough. He's at the very beginning, gets killed pretty quick, and he's out. Secondly, also, Captain Phasma, who is played by Gwendolyn Christie of Game of Thrones, she is in the movie very little. She plays a female stormtrooper, actually, and she's here and she's gone. I think she's got maybe 2 or 3 very short scenes in the movie, and that's it. Real quick, in wrapping up, 3 things that I thought that the Force Awakens Star Wars Episode 7 did really good, actually, was I loved BB-8. I think he's a cute little adorable droid. I love the new characters, Finn and Rey. I think they work really good. And also, I like the new Stormtroopers. I think they look really neat. And so, thank you for watching my video. I hope you got some insight into the new Star Wars. Please leave a comment on the comment sections below if you want to. And please subscribe to my channel, The Atomic Playground. Thank you, God bless, and thanks for watching.